I mean, it was quite the line coming in at like 7 this morning. What does that say about the excitement and the turnout and support you see today?
Yeah, we're feeling the excitement. Really thankful for our fans making the trip up here. We've had a really good presence all week long, as you guys have seen, but today we knew it would be off the charts, and so we're just really thankful for the team up here at Camp T that operates this, all the coordination to get our fans up here easily, give them a good day of football. Really feeding off this energy that our fans continue to provide. It's awesome.
How has the response been in terms of your interactions with boosters, businesses, leaders, whoever, about kind of what's happening right now with ASU football?
I think just people feel good to feel good. And again, there's optimism, there's momentum, there's excitement around what we're doing. People want to plug in the ways that they can. We just took a photo with a group of donors, the Soul Devils, that raised $1.5 million in 2 weeks that we can use to refresh the football weight room. And there's a lot of really good equipment in that weight room that now we can make available for other sports. And so in 2 weeks to have a group of guys come up with $1.5 million to do that, that's amazing. We're maybe $6+ million into the football covered facility. That's a high priority for us, as we've talked about the last couple of weeks. And so, people are now coming up saying, like, how do I help? We see the momentum. We want to be a part of finding solutions, providing resources, and just building this exciting time of Sun Devil football and throughout the department. So it means the world to us, and we're looking for every chance to connect. We've talked a lot about obsessing over the people who obsess over us, and I think today was a great day of just the little tweaks that we can make at Camp T year to year. We'll have a fun time this week announcing what's new for football season, I think, on Thursday. And so, we want to drive outcomes for our fans because we feed off their energy, and it works really well together.
With that weight room projects, just what's the big focus of it, and how can it benefit not just football but the entire?
Well, I look at our job is very simple. We need to provide the tools and the resources and the amenities that allow our coaches to coach at a high level, to recruit and retain talent. And so there's things that we don't have in technology and some of the modern weight equipment that we want to add to. And we've got a really good setup. We're so fortunate to have the student athlete facility, but there are things that are emerging that help our strength coaches get these guys stronger, bigger, faster, help them recover from injury, stay in front of a lot of these things. And so we're lucky. Joe Conley is one of the best in the nation. He's committed to being here. We were able to retain him when we did the coaches last year, and he had a big voice in designing what we need, and we had a group of people that helped us go out and find it.
How cool is it to have a tradition like this in your athletic department coming up here for over 60 years?
It's awesome. Dating back to 1959, it's the best setting in the country, and it was really fun this week to see a lot of the national media looking at the coverage that you guys put out and talk about this is a iconic setting. There's really nothing quite like this in college football, and when you get out here, and it's just special, and you feel the history and the fact that Coach Dillingham and his team have really embraced these traditions that have lived for decades. It means a lot. It means a lot to the people that have supported us for decades. It means a lot to this community up in Payson area, and the fact that they're tied into what we're building and what our success is, and the fact that we had, I don't know how many thousand people make the trek up here. It's important to embrace our traditions. That's really important of how we want to operate. We have a lot of Sun Devils in the department, and so kind of getting back to basics, embracing these traditions is really important, while we also want to be thinking about the new things that we can create and put a few things in motion for the generations to come after us.
What was your reaction when you saw the crowd?
It's awesome. Yeah, I was here early as people were kind of coming in, and you kind of look around at some point when we're in the workout, and there's people hiding on rocks in the mountains and finding every corner of shade, and sidelines were jam-packed, and a lot of people that said, I haven't done this in 20 years, but I wanted to come back in and be a part of it. And so it means the world to us. Again, like the fact that our fan base is plugging in. I've said this a lot, like we're doing this together. It's never going to be only about a football coach or people in the athletic department. It's going to be about a collective unit of the Sun Devil community in all ways, the university, the fan base, the donors, the alums, and everybody plugging in to make a contribution that just helps us continue to build.
Where does it go from here? Do you keep it rustic, or do you build stadium seating?
No, I think we want to keep the charm of it. I think there's a lot of creature comforts that we can look at, and what are little tweaks operationally or things that help the team as they're here for a week. Make sure it's a productive use of their time. It was a little bit hotter this week than normally. We can't do anything about that, but we can look at the cabins, we can look at the evening, and make sure that we're always mindful of the little different touches that protect the charm of it, but make sure it's as functional and driven by performance as it can be.
Graham, how realistic is it to raise the money that you need to get the indoor facility broken ground?
Yeah, it's top priority for us. Desert Financial Arena and the football facility are 1A and 1B in no particular order. We're really getting some early momentum with people that we haven't finished the design yet. We've already had, again, $6+ million in on the project. We're trying to make sure that it can accomplish the football goals, be a great resource for game days. There might be other ways that we can use that facility for some other sports, visiting locker rooms, et cetera. And so we're going to get one crack at it. We want to make sure that we design it and get it right, but we want to be in the ground as soon as humanly possible.
Graham, to kind of piggyback off that, obviously the big difference from last year to this year, the just all the programs and the winning, how much more energetic have the conversations been with people that you're approaching?
Yeah, really energetic, and so it works both ways. You know, we're reaching out to people and trying to plug them in, and we have a lot of people that are calling us up saying, like, I heard about it and I want to help. And it works best when it works both ways like that. If we're identifying people that we think are capable and want to plug in, and then we have people that have said, hey, I've been watching what's going on, I've got a responsibility and an ability to help the things that you all are building, and they want to plug in and do it. So hopefully we're building something where we get it both ways. We've got a development team, we've got people that are building relationships and connecting, but we also have people that are identifying and watching what we're building, and they want to plug in and help however they can. And it's not just donors, it's companies. I say this all the time, we're so lucky to live in the Valley, 5th largest city in America, companies coming here from all industries, and they're seeing value in connecting to ASU and partnering with our athletes and being a part of the things that we're building, and I think that's the sign of health and success.
What's the reaction been like from the business community in Payson?
It's great, you know, and they've got a fun month coming up. They've got the rodeo next weekend, but we were at a restaurant last night, and it's wall to wall, and you kind of drive through the main street in town, and you just see full parking lots. You see restaurants that are busy. We've been studying a lot the economic impact of not only football but all of our sports, and it's really starting to reveal some interesting numbers. We'll get those reports out publicly at some point in the coming months, but I think that's an important part of how we look at what Sundell Athletics not only means to the university, but what we mean to the state as kind of an economic engine. And you know, giving these local businesses up here, we were in the White Mountains in June for the White Mountain Steak Fry, which is another really cool tradition that we've been able to embrace and bring back. And you know, when we bring hundreds of people from the Valley, thousands of people to Camp T on a weekend like this, like, we know it's good for these smaller towns in the state that want to plug in and connect. And when we can come to them, it's going to be easier than them making the trek down to Phoenix sometimes. And so I think there's a responsibility for us to be a state asset and look at all the ways that we can drive business outcomes for people all throughout Arizona. And that's the cool thing that you can do in a sports setting like ours.
With the waiver project specifically, I imagine it can be quite a process trying to get funding, but with how quickly all that came together, just what does that mean to you that so many people not only talk the talk, but walk the walk?
We've been talking about it for a while, and we were able to use last football season as we were on the road to look at Oklahoma State's one that we've talked about that's a really good footprint to mimic. The structure, we need airflow. They need protection from wind and weather. We need protection from the sun, and so the structure, some of the space allocation, some of the resource that they have, it was helpful all throughout the season to kind of go and see what other teams are using, talk to our counterparts across Power 4 and different conferences, and really use all that feedback to design what we need. And our coaches have great ideas and great opinions that we're trying to incorporate in, and that final touch is going to be really creating a cool amenity to use on game days and something that our fans can plug into as well.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.